After the real estate crash, China's next crisis is ready to unfold. Whether China's current crisis is deflation or inflation, observers have different views. However, they all agree that China's economy is in a depression and becoming increasingly dangerous. Well-known professional investor Belz recently wrote that the real estate crisis is just the beginning. If it is not resolved, it will inevitably escalate into a financial crisis. Belz wrote that China's real estate bubble is the largest asset bubble in human history, once valued as high as 450 trillion yuan. Now that the bubble has burst and prices have collapsed, this is a major historical event that has changed the world. Any decision that ignores this context is dangerous. China's current economic difficulties seem to stem from weak consumption. But why is consumption low and demand sluggish? The reason is that residents have overdrawn their future income for decades and must now repay their debts, leaving no money for consumption. At present, the government shows no sense of crisis and has not taken timely action. Therefore, the crisis continues to worsen, and it will eventually lead to a sharp increase in bad bank debts, evolving into a financial crisis. Belz explained that if residents have no money, the supply side will go bankrupt, and real estate debt defaults will trigger a chain reaction. In the end, everyone will owe the bank. Banks' business models often involve more than 10 times leverage. If banks lose 10% of their assets, when multiplied by 10 times leverage, they would theoretically go bankrupt. In fact, just over 20 years ago, all Chinese banks were technically bankrupt and insolvent. Few remember this period of history, but it seems about to repeat itself. China's economic depression has led to social changes. On September 8th, social media reported that a Meituan delivery rider in Shanghai held a sign on Nanjing East Road, calling for the establishment of a trade union. His sign read, "The Times are calling for China's Martin Luther King, and we want our own trade union, our own spokesperson for our interests, and an 8-hour workday." This is what the CCP fears most. Additionally, the economic depression has provided an opportunity for Xi Jinping's political enemies. The CCP is in a state of anxiety. Ming Zhuzheng, an honorary professor of the Department of Political Science at National Taiwan University, analyzed on a live program on the 10th that Xi Jinping began preparing for war after consolidating power. He primarily did 4 things. First, he engaged in a trade war with the United States. Second, he took over Hong Kong, causing foreign capital to flee, leaving Hong Kong no longer able to generate wealth. Third, he imposed lockdowns for 3 years, pushing small and medium-sized enterprises to the brink. And fourth, he promoted the state's advancement while private enterprises retreated, all of which led to China's rapid economic decline. Professor Ming Zhuzheng said that once the economy is depressed, society stagnates, and unemployment follows. When unemployment becomes severe, the crime rate will rise, society will become unstable, and political problems will emerge. The Communist Party has always been ruthless in political struggles. Recently, rumors have spread, all pointing in one direction, hoping for Xi Jinping's downfall. Anti-Xi forces are lurking behind these efforts. Xi Jinping is aware of those opposing him, which has led him to intensify his purges and become more suspicious. Professor Ming said that the CCP has fallen into this vicious cycle of internal struggles, and the only remaining question is who will take the first step. If Xi Jinping wants to save himself, his only option may be to abandon communism. China's housing market crashes, owners strongly dissatisfied. On September 7th, the poor construction quality of Phase 3 of Sunac Airport Chenyuan in Zhengzhou, Henan, sparked strong dissatisfaction among homeowners. During the rights protection process, many homeowners were forcibly taken onto buses by the police, drawing significant public attention. At the same time, the Hangzhou housing market has once again become a focal point, with second-hand homes in many areas experiencing a break-in issue, meaning that the selling prices of second-hand homes are lower than the purchase prices of new ones. Some homeowners even reduced their prices by as much as 1 million yuan in less than a month, causing heated discussions in the market. According to the Chongjiang Evening News, this phenomenon is no longer new in Hangzhou. It has occurred in multiple districts such as Taoyuan, Zhenbei New Town, and Future Science and Technology City. The Taoyuan district is a typical example of Hangzhou's new homes experiencing a break-in issue. Henning Hangyue Mansion was delivered in February this year, and after delivery, some landlords sold their units at prices lower than new homes. The price limit for finely decorated units in Hangyue Mansion is 34,000 RMB per square meter. But the current average price is only 33,000 RMB per square meter, and the average transaction price is as low as 26,000 RMB per square meter, significantly lower than new home prices. According to the report, an owner in Beiyuechao Mansion in Xiaoshan City recently sold his home at a loss of nearly 300,000 RMB. He explained that he was upgrading his home because the prices of both new and second-hand houses were falling. Many agents pointed out that in the current market environment, where supply exceeds demand, it is difficult for second-hand homes that have broken-issue prices to stand out, and prices are still declining. Netizens expressed mixed opinions about this trend, noting that current housing prices have fallen to match new home prices, and questioned the possibility of a market recovery. Many netizens believe that buyers purchasing now might face further declines, leaving the future of the housing market uncertain. Guangzhou real estate company R&F Properties has overdue debts, exceeding 27.6 billion yuan. Founded in 1994 and headquartered in Guangzhou, R&F Properties was listed in Hong Kong in 2005. Once known as one of the 5 tigers of South China real estate companies, R&F Properties has now fallen into financial difficulties. On September 11th, Guangzhou R&F Properties Comshi Ltd issued a statement disclosing the overdue status of some of its debts, revealing that approximately 27.6 billion yuan of interest-bearing debts were overdue. According to the announcement, as of June 30th, 2024, R&F Properties had overdue interest-bearing debts, including an 8.454 billion yuan balance on bank loans, a 12.588 billion yuan balance on loans from non-bank financial institutions, and a 6.570 billion yuan balance on other interest-bearing debts. These overdue amounts are due to both principal and interest not being repaid by their respective due dates. R&F Properties also mentioned in the announcement that the company is actively communicating with creditors, addressing their concerns, formulating and implementing solutions, and continuously working to resolve the overdue debt situation. Just 1 month ago, R&F Properties issued a notice regarding overdue US dollar bonds on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. At that time, the announcement stated that 3 priority notes issued overseas by R&F Properties subsidiary, Yilue Co. Ltd., were due for cash payment on July 11th of this year, with a 30-day grace period. However, due to the group's cash flow pressures, the interest has not yet been paid. The total interest owed amounts to 147 million US dollars. Experts: China's rich have become a dangerous group. The dynamics of China's wealthy and their ranking have become a key indicator for the outside world to observe changes in its market. Recently, an economic expert wrote an article pointing out that under China's anti-corruption and common prosperity policies, the rich have become a dangerous group. Ruchir Sharma, chairman of Rockefeller International, and an economist who once served as a senior executive at Morgan Stanley, recently wrote an article in the UK's Financial Times titled, "Getting Rich in China is no longer glorious, but very dangerous," analyzing the frequent changes among China's richest individuals over the past month. The author used the disappearance of Alibaba founder Jack Ma from the wealth rankings as an example, suggesting that China's shift from the glory of getting rich during the Deng Xiaoping era to the dangers of wealth accumulation in the Xi Jinping era is tied to the government's promotion of targeted policies such as anti-corruption campaigns and common prosperity over the past decade. The article highlighted that due to the dangers of being too wealthy, 15,000 Chinese millionaires emigrated abroad last year. Many of China's rich have also avoided becoming the country's richest person to escape public scrutiny. Common prosperity makes the rich tremble. In November 2022, common prosperity was officially written into the report of the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. In that report, Xi Jinping, leader of the Communist Party of China, stated, "Chinese-style modernization is modernization with a huge population scale, and modernization of common prosperity for all people." The French newspaper Le Monde recently reported that most of China's wealthy have realized that it is wise to maintain a low profile or emigrate, as billionaires Pan Shiyi and Zhang Xin have done. The report noted that most of China's billionaires have either been targeted for rectification or found ways to become less conspicuous. For instance, Jack Ma, the founder of e-commerce giant Alibaba, has remained silent since disappearing for 3 months in 2020, while retail tycoon Wang Jianlin has also kept a low profile. Both Ma and Wang were once the richest people in China and even Asia. But now the title of richest person inspires fear, not pride. The report also mentioned that Xi Jinping's Common Prosperity campaign affects not only billionaires, but also professionals in money-related fields. For at least a year, China's major banks have been under orders from the Communist Party to reduce top executives' salaries, and in some cases, executives have been asked to return bonuses. Since August, at least 3 investment banking executives have been detained. As China's slowing economic growth, particularly the decline in housing prices, has caused households to lose confidence in the future and reduce spending, the government is now making it clear that those who have benefited the most are in its sights.